Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special edition of the Morgan You Know podcast. My name is Rod Morgan. I will be your host. Normally, I'm joined by my co-host, Jimmy Jamriska, my executive producer of this podcast, Jimmy Jamriska. He is not here, but his work never stops. He will be producing this episode for us. My other co-host, Chris King, not really a big Survivor watcher, so that's why I'm here. I love Survivor. But I can't talk about Survivor by myself. I got to bring in an old friend in the podcast, a Survivor super fan, been watching it a bunch of years like me. He was excited for season 50. I can't believe he actually caught up live before the season finale on Wednesday, but he has, and he's here to talk to Survivor with us. It's our good friend, Matt Wu Tang Kazerski. Wu Tang, what's up, buddy?
Hi.
Hi,
How you
that
doing,
is
buddy?
old school. You were the first ever guest on the Morgan You Know podcast with that right there. I love to hear it.
Well, if we're going to talk Survivor, there's old school style Survivor and the new school. So, just like podcasting. Hi.
Look at you. You are ready to bring the knowledge tonight. I'm excited. All right, let's start here. So we heard season 50 was coming around. We heard they were going to bring back our favorite survivors from all time. Let's just start with the roster. Was there somebody you wanted to see? Were you pretty happy with everybody that was there? What'd you think as the season was starting off with everybody that made the beach?
I thought it was pretty. You know who I could have really? I want Yule back. Give me Yule. I want
Okay.
Yule one more season.
All right.
Who they had this year? I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like it was terrible, but there were some people I went ahead on.
Yeah, like I was kind of wondering, like, where was Tony, right? Tony was a bit of a Survivor villain, but also lovable,
Yeah.
right? Where was Tony? Where was
Yeah.
Russell Hantz, right? Where was somebody to play a bit more of the villain role? Where was a Boston Rob? You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea how Aubrey is still involved. I have no idea how she's gotten the chance to play Survivor as many times as she have, and I have no idea why she was cast for season 50. Wu-Tang, your thoughts on Aubrey?
She's a winner. That's what she
How?
does. She's a gamer. She
Okay.
goes for it. She's not my favorite. I don't get it. But she's like she flies under the radar. She's like when you go through a car wash and at the very end you're not sure when to quite, pop your thing and get back into drive if it's still drying. You know what I mean?
I do. That's a good analogy. I dig that. I did not think that you would stick up for Aubrey a little bit here. So if Aubrey wasn't your least favorite when they hit the beach, come on, I know you. You don't have to go hating on too many people here, but give me somebody that you were not excited to see on that beach.
Joe.
Ooh.
Can't stand Joe.
What is it about Joe that irks Wu-Tang?
Fake tough guy. I don't like it.
Fake tough guy, huh? Shout out to all our firemen out there. Wu-Tang just absolutely attacked your profession. His thoughts about firemen don't necessarily reflect the Morgan You Know podcasting network.
It has nothing to do with him being a fireman, Rod.
Okay,
you know
all right.
that.
I'm glad. Listen, I'm just glad that we cleared that up for everybody out there. So you don't like his moral code?
Rod.
Is that what it is?
It's the moral code. I think it's weird. I don't like it. I think the whole point of Survivor is to blindside people and vote them out and win. So no, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Well, Joe's still involved. Aubrey's still involved. We got RIZGOD, my favorite player of Survivor, the Riz God, Rizzo, still involved. Love seeing him around. But let's talk a little bit about what they've done to the season, Wu-Tang. Were you excited about the Billie Eilish idol? Were you excited about the Jimmy Fallon challenge?
No, I hate it.
Okay, were you excited about the appearance of Mr. Beast live on the island?
I semi-liked it.
Okay, so Jimmy Fallon, Billie Eilish, no-go, trash from Wu-Tang, but Mr. Beast, semi-like. Why?
Well, I just kind of, other than it was very odd. If Mr. Beast is going to be involved, it's going to be something crazy, and it was. It was exactly what I thought.
Okay,
Except I think you should have give whoever flipped like $1 million right there on the spot, which would have been dope too.
So Mr. Beast should have given away more money. I'm pro that. But tell me why the twist that Mr. Beast brought to the game was enjoyable to you, but the twist that Jimmy Fallon and Billie Eilish had, you were like, nah, I don't need it. What was it about those twists specifically that you didn't like?
Well, those are more, well, who was the other guy? Didn't they have like some singer, just who else
Oh
was
yeah,
on there?
Zach
Some
Brown.
country guy.
Excuse me, that's right, Zach Brown. But he did that really wasn't a challenge. He just showed up and was like, "Hey guys, I can spearfish, and let me play you my new song."
Well, but it wasn't that kind of like Mr. Beast too? I mean, the other two have idols attached to their names, essentially, right? So they're actually like you're forced to say the Billie Eilish idol the entire time.
Which had
Versus
a
it was
cool
just Miss.
the boomerang thing that was attached to it was cool, but we never really saw it come to fruition. So ultimately, it was just kind of a dud. I'm with you there.
Yeah, no, it was a dud. It was a complete dud, and I don't even buy the fact that it was Billie Eilish.
Yeah,
You know that. You know it's not. She rented out her name to Survivor. Did they even show it? Did they even do a video montage of her?
not really, not really,
No.
not really much from her. You think she was
Yeah,
watching Survivor Kaorong, season 5 back in the day, right? You think she was watching
not the slightest. Not
yeah,
the slightest.
Survivor
I
heroes versus villains? There's no chance.
I claim shenanigans on it all, Rod.
Survivor Africa, Colby Donaldson's first appearance, our guy. I love seeing Colby back. Didn't it just make you realize though how long Survivor's been on when Colby hit the beach and you're like, "Oh my god, look how old he is."
I thought Kobe looked. Yeah, well, I think Ozzy looks terrible. he looked
Go
he
shout
looked
out to the
horrible.
Ozman. I mean, he's got a
Nah, it
little
was
gray
good.
coming in. Listen, I'm not gonna get mad about somebody having a little gray coming in on the beard, Wu Tang. That would be a little hypocritical of me to do that.
Well, Rod, here's what I'll tell you. You said your boy the Riz Dog, right?
The Riz God, please
Yeah,
show some respect.
the Riz God, Riz Dog, whatever you want to call him. And how I felt. And I'll tell the audience, I was not a fan. I might have even called him the most overrated player in Survivor history, which I still think is pretty close.
You prone to hyperbole? I've never heard such a thing.
But I kind of like him. I like him a little bit. I've grown on me a tad.
All right, so now let's get into the brass tacks of that then. What do we think some of the best moves, excuse me, that have happened this year have been done by which player, and what moves were they?
Ooh. Um. Well, I think obviously Devon's. I think was the greatest move maybe in Survivor history of putting himself out there wanting to flip even prior to that the just giving the juice on everyone, whatever, not the juice, what were they, giving the squeeze, giving the rundown,
The
the
dirt, giving
skinny,
everybody the inside
the,
info, right? Kind of being a
yeah.
turncoat, right? I love that though. I'm with
So
you,
yeah,
right? Sure,
I think
the flip took balls. Don't get me wrong, right? He had to have a big, hairy sack of balls to be willing to go up there and flip that game, and either you're winning $1 million for everybody or you're out. But I, like you, absolutely loved the maneuver of airing everybody's dirty laundry at Tribal. We never see that. Wu-Tang, we've had 49 seasons of Survivor prior to this one, and we've never seen someone lay it out like that at Tribal Council. Why do you think Devins finally was the first person to do it? Why do you think people have been afraid to do it in the past?
I think it happens. It's just not as blatant, right? Because really, all he did was tell the truth,
Yeah, he
right?
certainly
You're
did.
getting all caught up. You get your mind caught up in the weeds of what he. All he did was just tell what his truth was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone came up to him. He said what they said. So yeah, I think it was dope. I would have did the same thing. But he was.
Let,
I don't know. That's how I
let me
play
ask you
it.
this
I
then.
just
That was a
yeah.
great episode. That was one of the greatest Survivor episodes that night, right? Mr. B showed
Agreed.
up, the coin flip, all that.
Agreed.
Devins laid everybody out at the challenge. Jonathan, earlier in that same episode, was the mastermind behind the vote that went down that night and the reason that everybody was fighting, but nobody outed Jonathan. So doesn't that make Jonathan a great Survivor player when you couple that with his ability to win challenges? Doesn't that make Jonathan one of the greatest to ever do it?
Well, if you think that it was all Jonathan that made that decision, because
You
it
don't think it
wasn't. It was
was?
Jonathan. Who got voted out? Who was? Which one was that?
Well, that was when Stephanie got voted out, right? But
Yeah,
that was
Stephanie.
when
Because it was Stephanie that originally brought it up. Well, no, I think it was really more Stephanie and Jonathan, and I think there was a third
right,
that actually
right.
all brought it up together.
And
I don't
that's
think
my
it was
point.
like his mastermind. He just kind of, again, this is my issue with part of my issue with Rizzo, they dumb luck into it, Rod. He just
See, what
was
I'm
the
saying to you is
best of the worst.
I don't think it's fair for us to say they've dumb lucked into anything. I think every little maneuver that they make on that island is part of playing the game. So the reason that your name gets left out of discussions when we're heading to tribal council is part of your gameplay. It's not just dumb luck. Is all I'm trying to suppose here, Wu. Can you at least agree with me on that?
Well, yes, but I'm just saying you can't say someone's a good player just because they were shielded by better players. They were the best of the, he was the worst of the best.
So he doesn't get any credit for realizing that it was really, really smart to align with Sari and aligning with her, even though 24 other people on that island had the same chance, but he doesn't get any credit for that? Like, I just don't understand. I have trouble with that. Like, I get what you're trying to say. You don't want to put Rizzo up on a pedestal, and we're trying to look at people for things they did and didn't do. But I just don't think you're giving the guy enough credit.
Yes. Well, yeah. Daddy is busy right now. Just, yes.
We'll wrap this up in a few minutes here, and you can go join the children.
Yep. Go. Good night. Sorry.
That is all right. Listen, we all got things to do. Like I said, it's amazing we got you on the podcast for this 11 minutes that we've had so far. So we'll wrap up here in a couple minutes so you can go join the children. But don't you think that you should give people credit for their interpersonal relationships? I truly believe that their interactions with people keeps their name out of votes, and I think that that's things that we should give them credit for their Survivor play.
I think that's perfectly fair. But if you're just going along, if you're a part of the get along gang and you're going along and you just happen to be the last one to get caught, well, not even caught, the last one to be worried about, that doesn't make you a superior player. The two people before, right?
I disagree with you, but you're making a good point. We're having a discussion here, so I'm allowing you your time to make your feelings known.
Like, that's why, yeah. I don't even think sometimes the winner is the true winner, if you really want to ask me.
I think that's ridiculous. I think by definition of the game, if you win it, you are a good Survivor player. But I suppose I understand what you're doing. You're trying to put concrete pillars that make a good Survivor player, right? And you're trying to say that these things put them in those silos. And I just think that, like, with a game like Survivor, it's awful tough to do that. I think there's so many things that go into it, right? Who you decide to be friends with, who you decide to not be friends with, when you decide to bring up somebody's name for a vote, who you decide to bring up somebody's name to other people, figuring out who might be secretly aligned. I just think all of those interpersonal relationships, Rizzo plays perfectly, right? Is he great at challenges? Absolutely not. He's terrible. He's on the beach with Ozzy and Joe and other people and Tiff. People that win challenges left and right, and Rizzo's always the first person out. So certainly if you're going to try to say physical ability, he's below Colby, he's below Ozzy, he's below Joe, Jonathan, so many other great Survivor players that we've seen. But if you want to talk about his ability to work with people and never seemingly make anyone angry, Rizzo's got it in spades, Woo.
No, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. I told you he's grown on me.
That's good.
The guy has grown on me. I think he is a quality Survivor player. He is good.
So who this year has played the ideal Wu Tang game? Who is somebody that you can say, boom, I've seen them do this, I've seen them do that, this is impressive, this is what Survivor winners need to do? Who's played that game for you this year?
I want you to take this one first, Rod, and I'll go after you.
I think it's Devins. I think it's absolutely Rick Devins. I was anti-Devins at the beginning of the year. I thought Devins was more of a guy who was interested in give me my moments on camera, right, so that I can be famous as a character more than famous as a Survivor player. But what I started to realize was that character of Devins was a smokescreen, which allowed him to do things in the shadows, right? And in a game like Survivor, it's tough to do things in the shadows. The only way that you can do things and have people not realize you're doing something is if they think you're crazy and they think you're possible of anything, right? So Devins,
yeah, it's like when you head into prison for the first time.
There you go. Devins pulled off the best fake idol maneuver that I've ever seen on Survivor, right?
That was gorgeous. That was beautiful.
He had them believing for like 2 straight tribes that thing was real, right? And then he basically used the reveal of the fact that it was a fake idol and that he duped all of them to then garner trust to get him through another vote. It was absolutely masterful by Devins. That's who played a great game in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can. I think his game was that. Well, that was what brought me to my point. My original point is how masterful of a game he was playing,
Okay.
and he just got kind of caught because he was just too good. You know, they weren't afraid of him, but they were just. But he was going to make it to the end, knowing. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And but see, I think that's another part of it, right? It's the thing that makes Survivor kind of the ultimate game. You can't just be good at it,
You
right?
can't
You
be
have
too
to
good. Yeah, you can't be
exactly.
too good.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's just part of it. So I think it's another reason I got to give
it's
Rizzo
got to be
credit.
average.
Yeah, you've got to
Yeah,
be average. You got to be average, and then when the time comes, you got to be just above average, right? And let's
you
get
know what?
there.
It
Go
remind
ahead.
it reminds me of a. There's a line in this Nas song, but part of the line says, "Know a little about a lot." Right? I mean, that's what Rizzo is. Rizzo knows a little about a lot, so he's able to get along with everybody. You know what I mean? But that's what makes someone like Joe, in my opinion, terrible. Because Joe thinks he knows everything about everything, and that what makes guys like Devin, Rizzo, who else, Rod? Throw me some others where they all know a little bit about everything,
Yeah,
you
I think
know?
that's key because you got a guy like Christian, right, who clearly knows a lot about a lot,
Yeah,
right? But he ended up
yeah.
finding himself on the bad side, I think, right? So I think you're definitely onto something here. I think somebody like Tiff, right? I think she does a very, very good job of certain times she gets a little angry at people and it's come against her, and then she does really, really well at challenges, which then draws a target on her back. But I think otherwise she's very, very good at getting along with people. And then if you want to just talk about Sari being average, right? Like Sari sits out challenges, does the worst at challenges anybody ever has done, but like runs that beach. I mean, like Sari was running this game until they got
No,
her.
well, yeah, and I actually think my opinion all season long was Suri was the number one. She she did it without taking chances, which again, at the end there, maybe she should have. She should have probably swung a little bit harder and maybe, dicked Rizzo over or someone like that. And when the second, who was it that went out right before her? No, it
Emily?
wasn't Devins. Was it Emily? Or no, when they tried to get out, was it Ozzy they tried to get out? Or when Ozzy went out and
Well,
she just
Stephanie
let
went
it?
out. Stephanie went out when they first tried to get Ozzy, and then Emily went out, and then I mean, I lose a little bit along there, but
But
they're all
basically, the second she was too loyal to Ozzy, but she was not. She didn't have enough balls to help save him and figure out a way to save him either. Same thing with Rizzo.
I think she. I mean, when they split that beach, that was one of my favorite things that they did this year when they sent
Yeah,
four
that was
people to
cool.
one beach and four people to the other beach, and Jonathan got to go back and forth, and we had like Survivor referees for the first time in a bunch of seasons, right? Remember that? We all thought Tiff won the challenge, and then Probst all like, "Hold on, everybody, take a chill pill here. I'm Emmy Award winner Jeff Probst. I got to go over here and do my executive producer deal."
He
And
had
then
to
he
he
comes.
had to go big.
Yeah. And then he comes
He
back and
had
tells Tiff she didn't win. Jonathan wins. That was amazing. We get to Wednesday. I believe this is going to run on Tuesday. The finale will be tomorrow. We were told by
hmm
Jeff that the hands of the fans are still going to be prevalent in the finale. We don't even know if they're going to do a fire making challenge to get to the final three. So, Wu Tang, I ask you, do you want to see a fire making challenge, or do you hope that the fans have decided something else?
I hope they have live vote like American Idol. How dope would that be?
I think it's a little difficult since they've already filmed the season, but
Oh, really? Is that how that works? They don't
yeah,
they don't do the live finale every
no, they
time?
no, they film like two of them at a time, basically. That's why like Rizzo and the other people that were in 49 had to turn around like 5 days later to film this season.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. What was your question? Sorry.
Do you want to see them make fire, or do you want to see them determine the final three some other way? Because Jeff teased us at the end of last episode that we don't know exactly what they're
I'd
going to do.
I'd much rather see it another way. Just go something bananas, crazy, hard. Just the hardest thing ever.
Along those lines, did you vote for any of the Survivor votes that were up before season 50?
No.
Neither did I. Neither did I. I didn't want to put my hands involved in the votes at all. Absolutely did not. I want to see
I don't
fire.
like it.
I want to see the kind of challenge you're talking about first, right? I want to open up the finale. Yeah. I want to be like 20 minutes in, and I want to go to a challenge, and I want that challenge to take like 30 minutes, right? I want this thing to be balls to the wall, difficult. People are getting dirty. People are maybe getting busted ankles, right? I mean, just whatever kind of crap. I want it to be difficult. I want it to get to Final Four. Then I want fire making challenge. I do. I think that when it gets down to 4, so much of what we talked about to get to here, Wu, about how so much of it is luck, you're absolutely right about that. As much as I'd like to push back and say that, no, this guy's good and that guy's good, you're right that luck plays in. So I believe fire making is the one way we can take a group of 4 who have clearly played a great Survivor game and then figure out who the final 3 is without really luck being involved, and that's fire making.
I can go with that, Rod. I think that's a fair assessment.
With a game that's not very fair, I think it's the fairest way to get there.
I don't like fire
It's not good for TV. You're right about that.
You know, and I think part of it is, and you know how I am about things that are good for TV and bad for TV, right? I much prefer something that's fun and exciting than a boring ass fire making competition that it might be a little windy, but you don't really know because it's some weird set. I don't even trust Survivor that much anymore. You know, it's not like it's not like back
Dare
to the
you.
day when they were on for like they were there for like 2 months, and if they were gonna do some sort of fire thing, it was really all about the elements. Now that they're like on a soundstage now with clean clothes and bright teeth, you know what I mean?
Do you want to know why so much of that has happened? Have you ever heard an interview with Jeff Probst as to why that they've honed in on Fiji?
Why?
Because during the time that Survivor first aired and is on now, so much of the beachfront real estate that they could film a show like Survivor on has been bought up by hotels, right? Like there's just literally smaller and smaller number of places that Survivor can get a beach with that kind of great stuff in film, right? Also, the troubles that the United States has with world relations these days. It's awful difficult for them to book in other countries, so they just have a good relationship with Fiji. They've almost been backed into only being able to go to Fiji. I'm just trying to defend Survivor a little bit here, Wu, as you attack them.
As I spit my venom towards Probst and the rest of their Survivor, I feel real bad for those guys.
I love that you just said spit and venom, because that put me to my final question for you. Okay, you and I are old school guys. We love the old school Survivor. And you know what used to happen on the old school Survivor? The people that got voted out would step up and they would absolutely grill you. They would make the final vote excruciating for all 3 people there. They would make them answer tough questions. They would make them look bad. They would get their revenge. Do you think we're going to see that kind of a tribal this time around?
No. I don't see it. Like I'd have to go. Let me think. Go through each name. Brad, who's out? Who would actually?
Ozzy certainly seemed to be pretty hurt when they sent him home, right?
He was hurt, but Ozzy's. But we know Ozzy's a wuss now, kind of. You know what I mean? Like he didn't. He lost his edge.
Your guy Devins is over there. We've already called him the ultimate Survivor wild card. Your guy Devins is over there.
He knew he was going out, so I find it harder. He's going to be more logical. I don't feel like he felt anyone screwed him. I think he knew he was gone.
The Dragon Slayer, coach himself, is over there. I mean, we all know he loves to hear himself talk. What do we think he's going to have to say?
He'll talk about how great he is.
There's no doubt.
He'll talk about, you know what? Watch it be Joe and Jonathan and be like, yep, that was my doing. That was our, our little group there.
That's a good prediction out of you. All right, Wu Tang, let's go out of here on this. You know the 5 people that are in the finale. Maybe you didn't pick one of these 5 people at the beginning of the year, but these are the 5 people you can pick from now. Who's winning Survivor 50 and the $2 million?
Aubrey.
Really?
Yeah.
Aubrey is your guess. So Aubrey best Jonathan. She best Joe. She best Rizzo. She best Tiff.
Maybe not Tiff.
See, that's sort of my dark horse. Tiff is sort of my dark horse. Because here's the problem. Here's the problem Rizzo's going to encounter, okay? Rizzo's going to have the problem where some people are going to view his game the way that you do, that he was just a passenger riding along. But I think everybody is going to view him as a 23-year-old kid that they don't want to give $2 million to. So I think that that's absolutely going to hurt Rizzo in the finals, right? So I think that that's why we're going to look at Tiff, we're going to look at Aubrey, and then we're going to look at either Joe or Jonathan. One of those guys are going to be in the final. So it's going to be
They're going to have to.
how many people are going to want to give Joe and Jonathan a reward for playing a good game, and how many people are going to want to stick it to them for besting them? I think that's going to be the question.
Well, I think it's determined to say they played a good game, but that's maybe on our part 2 of the pod.
Aubrey is your prediction. I like that. I'm going to go with Jonathan. As a prediction. Tiff would be the dark horse, but I'm going to go with my official prediction as Jonathan. I think he's played a really, really good game, and I think his physical ability will get him to the 4, and then I think if he gets to the 4, he's going to have a really, really good shot.
Yeah, we shall see. Yeah, I mean, I really want to see Tiff, but I think it's going to be Aubrey. I want to see Jonathan Joe the least. And Rizzo, if he wins, I'll be happy. If he loses, I'll be indifferent.
There we go. Rizzo, if you lose, our guy Wu Tang will be indifferent. Take that, Rizgod. Take that. And Jeff Probst, stop filming on Fiji, says our guy Wu Tang. Any more parting shots, my guy, for Survivor or anything else before we wrap up here, the special edition of the Morgan You Know podcast?
Make him dirty again.
Make them dirty. I love it. All right. You get back to the family. Go read a bedtime story. We'll have you back on the podcast sometime in the future, my guy. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks, buddy. See you later.
Boom.